Alright guys, so it's going to blow your mind when you find out just how easy this is. I promise you this is not a hard job. We're going to mortise this door and we're going to do it quickly and we're going to do it with a very simple process. By the way, I have a kit over here. The last video I put out was on this kit. If you want to see my door repair kit, this is the kit. Go to the last video. In fact, I make available for you the inventory to the kit and everything so you can build your own. No paywalls here, nothing like that. I'm not selling you anything. I just want you to succeed. So we want to do this door, right? We got no doorknob in here. Maybe the homeowner decided he was going to save $12 and buy himself a slab door that doesn't have any mortising in it yet, thinking the cheap handyman can make up for that. Well, the handyman's not cheap. The handyman's about $100 an hour, and we're going to mortise this door really quickly. Now, some notes to go over. First of all is, number one, I highly recommend buying a pre-mortised door. They're only about $12 extra, so just buy yourself the pre-mortised door. Number two, this process that I'm about to show you, this is going to work on better than 90% of the doors that you come across. But 10% or fewer of your doors are going to have some very weird, unique issues of their own, so you do still need to learn this fully top to bottom, and you need to learn how to make sure that your door is going to fit into this process. And also, number four, I do have a video on how to do a carbon copy of an existing door. So if you're pulling an interior door out and replacing it with a new one, I have a separate video for how to carbon copy that entire door so that your new door is exactly the same shape and size as the old door. So without further ado, let me show you how we're going to do this. Now, first of all, the center of the hole that we're going to be drilling is going to be 36 inches from the floor. Again, this could change, but this is more than 90% of doors. It will be 36 inches from the floor. So we're going to come down here and we're going to make a little line at 36 inches. We're going to draw it out a little bit. Does not have to be perfect. Try not to be off by more than a 1/16 of an inch, but that'll do right there. 36 inches on the front, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the side. We're going to go ahead and mark this right across at 36 inches. There we go. And then we're going to come and do the same thing on the back, 36 inches. Now, once you've got that 36 inches done, we're going to need to be figuring out the center here. So the next step is to come in 2 3/8 inches. And we're going to make an X right across that line we just marked. So 2 3/8. Now I've got my X. I know where the center of my hole is going to be when I drill for that hole. Now, my hole saw is actually going to put a hole through to the other side that I can use as a guide to come in from the other side. But just to be careful, I am going to come over here and I'm going to make another one at 2 3/8 on the other side of this door as well, just in case. Right there. And then finally on this side, we're going to want to find the center mark right here. And the center mark, so interior doors are typically going to be interior doors are going to be 1 3/8 inch thick. So to find that center mark, we're going to be looking for 11/16. However, if you're not good at finding 11/16 on a tape measure, you may not want to be doing one of these doors if you can't find 11/16. But you can also just call that 5/8 plus a 16th. So we come over here and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 plus a 16th. Or you can just count out the 16ths, or you can just kind of know where that's at. You do enough of this and you just kind of know where stuff's at. So there's that center mark there. That's where I'll bore my hole for the latch. So we got our holes marked. Again, it's going to be basically the same on just about all interior doors. And when you buy your doorknob that's going to go in here, oftentimes those doorknobs are going to come with a little template you can put on the door as well, if you want to try that. You don't have to. Now, I do want to point out in my kit here, I do have some jigs from Ryobi. I don't use these jigs ever, ever, ever. You don't need them. They're just really not necessary. It's only in the kit because I may or may not end up with employees who want to use them. Even my son may want to use them, and I'm not going to fault him for that if he does, but I don't use them. So we've got our 3 marks here. We've got 36 inches up on all 3 sides on the edge and these 2 sides. And then we've got 2 3/8 inches out from the front, and then we've got our center mark here. So the next thing to do is going to be to put the hole saw in. Now this hole saw is 2 1/8 inches, so that's the size that you're going to want for drilling these in case you go to buy one by itself instead of an entire hole saw kit. And you're just going to come over here and you're going to find that nice perfect little X that you made, And by the way, this has been brought to you by Next Insurance. They are the gracious sponsor who has paid for me to make this content at no cost to you. There are zero paywalls on this channel. I do that by having really great and loyal sponsors, and Next Insurance has been one of the tightest sponsors this channel has ever had. So please go click on their link in the description and get yourself a quote. And if it's not the right insurance for you, by all means do not buy it, but please do go get yourself a quote just to tell them thank you for sponsoring this video, sponsoring the channel, and being such a loyal partner to this handyman community. Make sure you're perfectly perpendicular with the door and go through it. All right, come around to the other side if necessary. This is not a deep hole saw. You already have the pilot hole from this drill bit here, but you also have a mark that you made just in case. And there we go. That part of the mortising is done. Pull your old block of wood out. Make sure you put your kit back together when you're done. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is put a paddle bit, a 1-inch paddle bit in through our center line here. So let's grab our 1-inch paddle bit. We've got the center line marked already. There we go. Now we've got our bore for our latch. So the next thing we're going to want to do with this latch, as you can see, let's bring this up to the camera. We've got to inset this part of the latch right here. We want this to be inset inside the door instead of sticking out. So there's two ways you can do that. One way that I honestly think is a very easy, perfectly viable way to be doing this is just to simply trace the latch right onto your door. It's really not hard to do. Just trace the latch onto the door. And then you can just take a chisel, nothing more than just a regular old-fashioned chisel, and you can go around with a chisel and a razor blade and you can just take this out manually. I think that's the easiest and fastest way to do it. I do keep a chisel in the box. However, one of the things I do like about these little kits with these jigs that you can use for your mortising is the actual latch plate mechanism. So every one of them is going to be very different. Don't be thinking that they're all the same, but you're basically going to use this jig right here, and you're going to take your router and you're going to use your router to go through this jig as a guide to actually mortise out right where your latch plate is going to go. Now, one of the things I want to point out is that every single one of these jigs is different, so you've got to read the instructions for your jig. On mine in particular, it has some little slots over here on the side to help you set the depth of your router bit. Now, I've already done that, and this router is set aside for nothing more in my business. Nobody will ever use this router for anything other than this particular job. This is standalone, so this bit never needs to move as long as this is for an interior door. So the way that you use this particular jig right here is you're going to come put it around the edge of the door, and then if you look at this piece here, hopefully you can see it fairly well. It has a little round part that sticks out, and that's going to recess inside the hole that we've already drilled into the door with our 1-inch paddle bit. That's how we're going to set where this goes. And then we're simply going to tighten down the screw on the side, and that's going to put this thing fully in place. Make sure everything still looks good. It does. We've got a battery in here already. So now all we need to do is just turn this on and come inside our jig here. And we got everything. Boy, this is a nice quiet little router, isn't it? All right, we got all of that out. So we can go ahead and take this jig off. Let's come over here and test out our latch real quick just to make sure that it fits. It does fit. Now, I don't like the depth, so I'm going to be resetting the depth on this to make it even just a little bit deeper. But now you're ready to go ahead and put the doorknob on, and the mortising for this doorknob and latch is completely done. So as you can see, this is an insanely easy job. If you're doing this for an exterior door and you're going to be putting a deadbolt up here, then you're going to want to come up exactly 6 inches from this center mark, so you can make 2 of those center marks 6 inches up from each other, and that's going to give you what you need for your deadbolt for your exterior doors as well. And this door is done in like 10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to email me at bulletproofhandymanbusiness@gmail.com, or you can ask those questions in the comment. Go look at the kit video that I made right before this one so you can see the kit that I used to pull all of this off. And finally, this video has been brought to you by Next Insurance. They have been a very gracious sponsor of this channel. They really help make it possible for me to bring you all of this with zero paywalls for free. So if you want to thank them for their sponsorship of this channel, and if you want to encourage them to continue to sponsor this channel, please go to the description, find that link to Next Insurance, and go get yourself a quote. So with all that being said, I love you guys. I hope you're out there killing it, and I'll see y'all on the next one.